For the past 15 years, the Bosse High School's EVSC Community Link has been bringing stories from the community to you. Our mission is to produce high-quality, informational, and educational, in-depth segments on people and organizations that the tri-state area has to offer. More than 120 individual segments have aired here on WNIN since the fall of 2003. Welcome to Season 15 of Bosse High School's EVSC Community Link. In this episode of the Community Link, we'll interview Michelle Walker, an avid marathon runner, and take a look at two documentaries, one for our local Habitat for Humanity organization and the other on our local Tri-State Food Bank. We hope you enjoy our program.
The idea for the modern marathon was inspired by the legend of an ancient Greek messenger who raced from the site of Marathon to Athens with the news of an important Greek victory over an invading army of Persians, after which it is said that he died from exhaustion. This foot race covers a standard distance of 26.2 miles, and marathon races are popular today, with over 1,100 held worldwide. The amount, time, and effort put into training sets one apart from being a completer or a competitor. The tri-state area is home to a lot of runners that compete in marathons. Michelle Walker is one of those runners, and she has a unique story and reason for doing them. Can you tell us a little about yourself and how running has affected you and how you got started into it?
Sure. I am a mother of 6 kids, and I have a passion for fitness. I've had a passion for fitness my whole adult life. I didn't get into running until later in life, though. I was in my early to mid-30s when I noticed a lady in my neighborhood was running the streets of my neighborhood, and I intently watched her because I'm so interested in fitness. And I have to admit, I was a little intimidated by her. She fit the running prototype. She was thin and focused, and I was a little afraid of her. And I was really afraid when she invited me on a run one day. I must have done okay. I did go on the run. I accepted her invitation, and she invited me again and again. So together we trained for my first half marathon, which was the Kentucky Derby half marathon in Louisville, and that was in about 2004.
And can you explain how your running phenomenon, how it's all grown, like what kept you running?
Well, my run with my neighbor, my half marathon training was just the start of my running career. My husband was actually the one who decided to sign up for a full marathon. And I thought, well, if he can do that with his busy schedule, then surely I can find the time to do that too. I had just had my 5th baby, but I carved out the time to train for this full marathon, which was in Phoenix, Arizona. And we both completed that. It wasn't one of my best marathons now looking back, but my husband and I did both complete that marathon. So really I have my husband to thank or blame for getting me started on this marathon journey.
And you mentioned Phoenix, Arizona. Are there any other places, or can you tell us about some of the places that you have been with running marathons?
Well, since then, my marathon running has really taken on a life of its own. I've run a marathon in each of the 50 states, and I've also run a marathon on each of the 7 continents. And in addition to that, I've run probably in about 14 other countries as well.
And what are some of the experiences that you have at these countries? Because I'm thinking as it would be such a great experience to just go there.
It's been an amazing journey, and I've had highs and a lot of lows. Just in the travel aspect alone, I've had so many adventures. I've run in Antarctica, which was an adventure in and of itself. We had trouble. I was with a marathon group, and we had trouble flying into Antarctica. So that was an adventure. I've also had a scary adventure. I was involved in the Boston bombing. So I was one of the runners who had just crossed the finish line before the bombs went off. So unfortunately, that is a memory that will stay with me forever as well.
With 115 marathons, running in 50 states, sub 4 hours, 7 continents, and 6 kids, how do you manage it all?
Well, prior preparation has been the key to my accomplishments. I have to plan far in advance, and I think that with any big goal, like the ones I've set through running, it takes so much preparation. So even training, I would plan my training schedule a month in advance, and I would have to secure childcare if needed, unless the kids were in school. But I would do that probably a month in advance. I think any big goal is possible if you really put the work into preparing and working for that goal. I found the time because I made the time. I carved it out in my schedule.
And have there been any challenges or setbacks that have really, that you've had in your life?
Oh, I've had plenty of challenges, and this has all been a big balancing act as far as my schedule and involving my family and my running and making sure that they were not left behind. That in and of itself has been a challenge. I've had my own physical challenges. Of course, running so many marathons, it does take a toll on one's body, and I recently was diagnosed with a stress fracture in my hip, and that came after a good 10 years of marathon running. I have a stress fracture that extends from my hip onto my pelvic bone, and that's like a little crack in your bone. And since then, I've had to take about 7 months off of running, but I am pretty sure it has healed now, and I'm back to training for the next Boston Marathon, which will be held in April of this year.
So I know this has caused a lot of stress on you physically. How many marathons exactly is that per year that you're running?
Well, I've had different life events that have come through my marathon journey. For instance, I've had 2 babies since I started running marathons. So one year I just ran 1 marathon, and one year I ran 29 marathons. I ran sometimes 2 marathons in one weekend. And I fully am aware that that sounds excessive. I was so focused on a goal of running a marathon in each of the 50 states and accomplishing that goal. And I had that availability of childcare. My parents would help by watching my kids. So I kind of had a window of opportunity that year to knock out a lot of the states and to meet my goal. I would never suggest that anybody run that many marathons, and it probably did contribute in the end to my stress fracture. But at that time in my life it worked, and I probably couldn't do it at this time of my life. I don't have that window of opportunity. So I am glad that I did it at that time. But to answer your question, it's been different numbers in different years, from 1 marathon to 29 being my highest. And I've only been running full marathons for about 10 years.
And with you having 6 kids, have you gotten them into running as well?
I have certainly tried. I've tried by being a role model to them, hopefully. And my oldest kids are interested in running. They are not interested in running the marathon distance, and maybe that will come later in life. But one of my children has run a half marathon, one has run a 10-mile run, and another 5K distance. So we'll see what the future holds. I certainly hope that they like running as much as I do.
Now I have to ask this question. What drives you to do this?
I found a way to satisfy my goal-oriented drive. As a stay-at-home mom, I think I lost that ability to set goals and achieve them, and I lost the satisfaction that comes with that. I think when you have a job, even your paycheck is a source of satisfaction. Your coworkers might provide satisfaction, but as a stay-at-home mom of 6 kids, I was really feeling isolated, and I needed something else. I needed something to check off and say, I did that, some sort of tangible result. And I think through marathon running, just the simple act of putting one foot in front of the other, I found that. I found a way to set goals, and as I checked off my goals, I made my goals higher. And it was a source of satisfaction for me.
And is there anyone else that you know of that run these marathons with you, or that you know of?
There are quite a few people who have similar goals. You'd be surprised. I was surprised at how many people are trying to run a marathon in each of the 50 states or each of the 7 continents. It's a whole world of marathon runners out there, surprisingly. And locally, we do have a lot of marathon runners. We have a lot of running talent in our community. It's pretty amazing. And I've traveled the world. I can make a comparison around the world, and we have a high concentration of talented runners. I know at least 10 of them who have almost achieved the 50-state goal right here in the Evansville area.
Now, with running marathons and raising a family, I understand that you are now an author of a book. Can you tell us a little about that?
Sure. I just published a book in December, and it's called If You Give a Mom a Marathon, 6 Kids and a Run Around the World. And it details my whole marathon journey, what drove me to start the journey, and some of the experience and adventures, as well as some of the misadventures that I had during this journey. And I hope not only to use this book as a legacy for my own family, something that they can have to look back on when I'm older, or pass down to their children, but I hope to use it to motivate people, and maybe not necessarily in the area of running, but in goal setting, and to show people that even with obstacles, big goals are possible. It's just a matter of putting in the time and strategizing beforehand to make sure that the work is done to accomplish the goal.
Now, if you could give one piece of advice to our viewers, what would that be?
I would tell them to pursue their passion. That's where you can find success. Really think about what your passion is in life and go for it.
Well, congratulations on your book and the many accomplishments that you've done throughout your running career. And we just want to say thank you for coming out here, and it was a pleasure talking with you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Reporting from Bob's Gym in Newburgh for Bosse's EVSC Community Link, I'm David Bland.
My name is Mariah Bradley. I'm the Communications Manager for Habitat for Humanity of Evansville. Habitat for Humanity is an international nonprofit organization with a vision of everyone having a decent, affordable place to live. Habitat for Humanity of Evansville locally works in Vanderburgh and Posey counties, building homes, communities, and hope for local families. We partner with low-income families who are seeking affordable, decent housing. There are 3 criteria for applicants seeking to go through our program. The first is the ability to pay, and that's a 25-year no-interest mortgage. The second is the need for housing, and that could be a variety of different things. All of the applications go through a review process with our Family Selection Committee, and then they do a home visit. The third is the willingness to partner with Habitat, and that's giving 300 hours of sweat equity, not only working on their own home, but also on other families' homes who are in the program. And they also take a number of home ownership courses, including home maintenance and a 6-month money management seminar. So I've been working with Habitat for Humanity for just over a year now, and I have seen the first homeowner go through the entire process, and it's just an outstanding organization to be affiliated with, and I'm honored to be able to work with these families who are seeking a stable future for themselves.
I'm Steve Smith. I'm the construction director at Habitat for Humanity of Evansville. We're on South Governor Street amidst 4 brand new homes under construction at various stages. We have a total of 14 homes under construction right now, And Habitat is in the midst of building about 25 to 26 homes this year and probably next year. Volunteers help us with the construction of the frame of the new homes is the first process they start with, starting with the floor system, then the walls, and they also help with putting the siding on the homes. They help with trimming the home, interior trim, the baseboards, the casings, the doors, the windows, all those types of things, as well as painting and landscaping the homes. The subcontracted parts of our construction are generally those which either present an unusual risk or danger, such as the roof and the roof system, or the things that require specialized training in terms of skills like electrical work or plumbing that require licensing to complete the work. The materials are chosen so that they can be as maintenance-free as possible, so our homeowners are not burdened with a tremendous amount of maintenance when they move in the home. The colors and the ultimate finish come from decisions of the future Habitat homeowners. The property we build on is typically inner city neighborhoods and areas that are being revitalized throughout the city. And you'll see them in various areas, various neighborhoods, whether it's Jacobsville or Star or Glenwood where we're at today, even in Howell. But most of our property either comes through donations or through the city cooperation with the city and county and the Evansville Land Bank. I've been a general contractor in the Evansville area for over 25 years, and the last 5 as the construction director for Habitat for Humanity. And it's a very rewarding experience to help people realize their dream of owning a home and to help see the impact it can have on a family, far-reaching for many years down the road.
The Tri-State Food Bank has helped fight hunger in our community since 1982. Their mission is to secure and distribute low-cost food to pantries and meal programs throughout 33 counties in the Tri-State area. In 2016, they were able to distribute 8.5 million pounds of food, which equates to roughly 7 million meals.
My name is Glenn Roberts. I'm the Executive Director of Tri-State Food Bank. We're an organization that was founded in 1982 to end hunger in our communities. Tri-State Food Bank has a mission to ensure that everyone in the Tri-State has access to adequate, nutritious food. And we do that throughout a special system. There's a supply chain of food that starts in one place and ends in the hands of the needy. And we are right in the middle of that supply chain. In a word, Tri-State Food Bank is a distributor of food. We collect mass quantities of food, we store it and we prepare it, and we distribute it to agencies such as pantries and soup kitchens. And they are the ones that actually put the food directly in the hands of the needy. We've been doing this since 1982. We've grown a great deal over the number of years. To give you an idea of the scope of what we do, we distribute over the course of a year about 8.5 million pounds of food over the course of a year, 8.5 million pounds of food, and that equates to 7 million meals. Now we are called Tri-State because we serve 3 states. We serve 16 counties in southeast Illinois, 9 counties in southwest Indiana, and 8 counties in northwest Kentucky. And throughout all these counties are the agencies, which are the soup kitchens and the pantries, and they number about 155 agencies. Now there's a whole system of how we distribute the food to the agencies and then to the people. We collect mass quantities of food, we inventory it, we store it, and we give an actual list to the pantries and soup kitchens for them to order from. In order to be one of our agencies, the soup kitchens and pantries need to be nonprofit organizations themselves and meet criteria to be one of our agencies. When they meet that criteria, they're able to order the food from us. We pull the order from the racks and we get their order ready, and the local agencies that are near our headquarters in Evansville come right here to Tri-State Food Bank and pick up their orders. The other agencies that are further away out in Illinois and Kentucky, we actually have a fleet of trucks and drivers that go out and distribute this food and deliver it to them directly. Tri-State Food Bank is a member of the Feeding America network of food banks. There are 200 food banks like Tri-State Food Bank throughout the country, and our territory is the 33 counties in Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky. Now, a food bank like ours receives almost all of its food, or at least the vast majority of its food, through donations. And the donations can come from food drives or from retail stores or major food manufacturers. In the case of a major food manufacturer, we may get truckloads of a donation, in which case that's why we are equipped with the warehouses and storage spaces that we have, because we get these mass quantities of food. So we really rely on donations from, again, manufacturers, retail stores, and food drives. The retail stores are the local grocery stores which will donate to us on a daily basis. One of our employees will make a route throughout the stores like the Sam's Club and Walmart and Schnucks and Meijer, and pick up donations from those stores and we'll prepare that food ready for pickup from our agencies. We weigh everything that comes into the food bank. We have a scale here. Everything that comes in and goes out, we weigh it, and we're accountable for all the food that comes in and out. We also have another source of food. About 34% of our food comes from the government in form of commodities. These are basic food staple items. And through the commodities program, there's one that's very special to us. It's called the Community Supplemental Food Program. We get specific food items and we package them into boxes for senior citizens. These are senior citizens that are very low income, and they get one of these boxes every month. It helps them make it through the month when it's tougher for them to make ends meet. So we distribute about 1,000 of these boxes every month to elderly citizens in Indiana and Illinois. Much of the other commodity food also goes to all of the agencies that participate in the program called the Emergency Assistant Food Program. And they will distribute these commodities, put them on their shelves, or serve them at the soup kitchens. And another source of our food is actually purchased food. We are able to get some items which may not be available for donation, but we can get at a great discount. We'll pass those costs along to the agencies, and this will include things like soups and stews, or spaghetti sauce and pasta noodles, applesauce, peanut butter, those things that we may not have on hand but we'll be able to get at a discount. So that's about 14% of our food. Also, what we purchase are the items in the Weekend Backpack Food for Kids program. We serve about 1,800 children who are on the free lunch program. They get a bag of food that'll help them get through the weekend, and each bag of food contains 2 breakfast items, 2 lunch, 2 dinner entrees, 2 100% juice boxes, 2 shelf-stable milks, a cereal item, an oatmeal item, and some nutritious snacks. It's a program we've been doing for about 14 years now. It's a very vital program, and we're very proud to do it. And again, regarding the government program, we do get that food from the government, but we also get government grants to help distribute this food. In a sense, we're helping the government do its job to feed the hungry, so it helps cover our overhead. At Tri-State Food Bank, we credit a lot of people for doing the work that's needed to end hunger in our communities. Some of the most important people, obviously, are the ones who work at the soup kitchens and the pantries. They are the ones who are putting food directly into the hands of people. And they're not just giving them food, they're giving them hope, because often these people are maybe at a low point and they need someone to care and show compassion to them. At Tri-State Food Bank and other food banks, we are looking for what we call the 3 F's. We need food, we need funds, and we need family. And we could not do what we do here at Tri-State Food Bank without volunteers. All the food that comes in through food drives, many other sources of food, needs to be packaged or assembled or put into cases. And over the course of a year, we have over 1,000 volunteers come to Tri-State Food Bank, logging in over 12,000 volunteer hours. What you see back behind me are people who are assembling the backpacks for the kids. We need this every week during the school year for volunteers to come in and pack the backpacks for these kids. We'll get school groups, we'll get groups from companies, businesses. To learn more about Tri-State Food Bank, visit our website and find out the many ways you can get involved with this great organization.
We hope you enjoyed the show. If you'd like to see other stories from our vault, visit the link on the screen. Tune in next month for a new episode of Bosse's EVSC Community Link. We would like to extend a special thanks to the following businesses and organizations for providing their services: Gerald and Leanne Scott, Sharon Adams with Timeless Photography, and the Acropolis Mediterranean Restaurant. This has been a Bulldog production.